A young girl named Jen resides on an island in Hawaii with her father, polishing her surfboard. She gets ready to go out for an early morning surf. Jen tells her father she hopes to spot whales that morning. She arrives at the shore and begins her surf session. Jen is happy and in her element. Below her, a shadow appears. She feels sudden movement under her surfboard. All of a sudden, a shark attacks her. It drags her under the water. She manages to return to the surface and swim back to her board, but she is badly hurt. Then the shark attacks again, pulling her under completely. Only her surfboard makes it back to shore. A week later, a group of friends arrive at a beautiful resort on the Hawaiian island. One of them, a woman named Jessie, sits alone at the bar. She toys with her engagement ring wistfully, lost in thought. Jessie's thoughts are interrupted when her friend Sunny sits beside her. She tries to make Jessie feel better and assures her they will have a fun vacation. Soon, they are joined at the bar by the rest of their friend group, Will, Ty, Emma, and Bree. They share that will book them a booze cruise, where a captain will take them around the island on a boat with lots of alcohol. Harlan Burke walks into the island's police station, interrupting a group of sheriffs. He is the father of Jen, the young girl who was attacked while surfing. It has been a week since his daughter's remains were found. He complains to the sheriffs that they haven't done anything about the shark attack. The head sheriff, Sheriff Kula, apologizes about how tragic the situation is, but he is still angry. Having been a fisherman in the area for years, he knows that when a shark tastes something it likes, it doesn't leave. It's a matter of time before he attacks again. The next day, the friends get ready for their booze cruise. They meet up with the captain Wally and his wife Beth, and head out to the boat. Beth learns that this trip was supposed to be Jessie's honeymoon, but the relationship didn't work out. Instead, her friends booked a trip to the island and encouraged Jessie to come with them anyway, despite how things turned out. Captain Wally talks to Jessie and assures her that she'll heal. According to him, the sea has a way of making people stronger. Soon, the booze cruise starts. They all talk, look at beautiful islands, and admire the views along the water. Wally tells the group he's taking them to a small secret island with a reef. Meanwhile, at a high school on the island, Professor Sam Hoffman is teaching a class on aquatic animals, specifically sharks. He discusses the great white shark, one of the most feared predators. He admits that there are a lot that scientists don't know about their species yet. From the back of the class, Harlan Burke speaks up. He asks the professor why sharks target humans. The professor excuses the class so he can speak to Harlan privately. Harlan shows Professor Hoffman photos of his daughter's accident and asks what kind of shark made the attack. The professor says the attack looks like it came from a great white shark, which is puzzling because their kind don't usually come in their waters. He also suspects that the shark is killing for sport, rather than survival, since the body was found in pieces and not eaten. On the booze cruise, the friends drink and tell stories on the boat. They tell Wally and Beth about their friend group's history. Wally says it's nice to see a group of friends visit the island since they mostly see couple. Jessie asks about Wally's life and how he ended up becoming a captain. Wally and Beth tell the story of how they met. They talk more about their careers. Wally tells the group the plans for the next day. He promises to take them to a special island with great beaches where they can snorkel and see sea animal. Meanwhile, Harlan goes out to the dock carrying a rifle. When Sheriff Kula sees him, he tries to stop him. Harlan says he's just going fishing, but the sheriff knows he's hunting the shark that killed his daughter. Harlan gets angry with Kula for not doing anything about the shark. Now he must take matters into his own hands. The group sees another boat of tourists trying to attract sharks. Beth says tourists pay big money to see sharks. They see white tip reef sharks, which are harmless. They also see tiger sharks, which are the cause for most attacks on the island, though it's relatively uncommon. Will says he'd like to see a bigger shark. Soon, the group's boat approaches the small island. It's all theirs for peace and quiet for the next 24 hours. Since the boat is too large to dock, they have to take a raft to reach the shore. Wally, Beth, Emma, and Ty stay on the boat while the first 4 people head to the beach. As the group paddles to shore, they feel something under their raft. Thankfully, it's just a dolphin. They laugh in relief, and Jessie says dolphins are a sign that there's no danger around. They get to the shore and Wally reaches Jessie through a radio. There is no cellular service on the island, so radio is their only means of communication. Will takes the raft back to pick up Ty and Emma on the boat, as well as some food and alcohol. While trying to open a can of beer, Ty accidentally slices his palm. Wally wraps up his bleeding hand but warns him to stay out of the water. Blood will attract small fish, and that will attract bigger fish. On the water, Harlan meets up with his friend Jack. Jack shows Harlan that their boat hit a reef, but upon seeing the scratches on the boat, Harlan tells him it didn't come from a reef. Jack points out to Harlan where the scratch happened, and Harlan decides that he will go to the area the following day. On the private island, the friends are having fun, drinking and enjoying a picnic. Meanwhile on the boat, Wally cleans up the area where Ty cut his palm. Jessie radios Wally to apologize for her friend and thank him for bandaging the cut. While Wally and Beth are talking, the captain accidentally drops the radio into the sea. Cursing, he dives after the radio and retrieves it. Just then, Beth spots a shark fin. She warns Wally, but before he can do anything, the shark gets him. Beth falls in the water, and the shark gets her as well. Early the following morning, Ty and Emma wake up before the rest of the group. They sneak off to go for a swim. Emma removes her bikini and gets in the water. Ty, excited, follows her in, despite the warning to stay out of the sea. Under the water, his bandage starts to come off and his wound bleeds. The shark immediately swims up and attacks them both. Later, the rest of the friends start to wake up. Jessie notices a radio washed up along the shore. She knows it's not theirs, since Will is holding onto their radio. They realize the radio is Wally's. Jessie becomes worried that something has happened to the captain. They decide to split up. Sunny and Jessie will check around the island to see if the captain is there, and Will paddle back to Wally's boat. They then realize Ty and Emma aren't around. However, they suspect the two are just hooking up. Will takes the raft and starts paddling back to the boat. When he reaches the boat, Wally and Beth are nowhere to be found. Meanwhile on the island, Jessie and Sunny look around for any hint of Wally or Beth. They find Emma's bikini bottoms close to the shore. Their first impression is that their two friends are indeed hooking up. But then Jessie looks further and sees Ty's body on the shore. They rush over to Ty. He has no pulse. Jessie tells Sunny to go get the captain. Bree wakes up. She's the only one from the group who's still in their camping spot. Soon after, Sunny runs back to where Bree is, screaming that they need help. The two girls scream for Will to get back to the shore, who is already rowing back. Then Will spots the shark fin. The shark attacks the raft. Will tries to fight it off with an oar, but the shark knocks Will off the raft and attacks him. Bree ties a rope around her waist and gets into the water while Sunny holds onto the other end of the rope. Bree swims over to save Will. Sunny pulls the rope back to shore, but the shark attacks Bree and ends up dragging Sunny into the water as well. Bleeding, Will crawls back to the shore. His left leg has been bitten off by the shark, and his entire back is bleeding. Jessie tries to help him and reassure him that he will be okay. She grabs a first aid kit and tries to stop the bleeding by wrapping his belt around the bitten leg. She pours alcohol on his bleeding back. Will becomes afraid that he is going to die. She cries, unsure of what to do and how to get help. Beside her, Will takes his last breath. Jessie calls for help on the radio. It reaches Harlan's boat. However, Harlan doesn't hear it at first as he's focused on hunting the shark down. She tries again, pleading for help to anyone that can hear her. Then she hears Harlan respond over the radio. She tells him they are stuck on an island outside the reef but doesn't know the exact location. Harlan asks her for help in pinpointing where she is. As their radio signal improves, he realizes he's getting closer and tells Jessie to light a flare. Harlan sees it and makes his way to the island. When he gets there, he finds Jessie sitting on the beach. From looking around the scene, he knows the shark attacked them. She explains that there were originally 7 of them, and she's now the only one alive. Harlan calls for a Coast Guard and informs them of the shark attack, asking for medical attention immediately. Jessie asks Harlan what he's doing out there. Harlan tells Jessie about what happened to his daughter, and that he wants to get rid of the beast. Jessie also wants it dead after what it did to her friends. They observe the shark. Harlan realizes which areas it can pass and which areas it can't because of the tide. He and Jessie devise a plan to shoot the shark. Jessie positions herself on the reef as bait. Meanwhile, Harlan gets back on his boat, getting ready to take the shot. The shark goes to the boat first. Harlan shoots at it, and it swims away. Then it goes after Jessie, who swims around the reef. Once Jessie gets close to the boat, the shark emerges from the water to attack, but Harlan shoots the shark multiple times. The beast drowns into the sea. Jessie swims back up to the surface and gets onto Harlan's boat. Their plan worked. Medical help arrives and Jessie makes it back to the island. Sheriff Killa informs Jessie that they've called her uncle, who will arrive the next day to take her home. He offers to book her a hotel room in the meantime. Harlan arrives and invites Jessie to come get a meal with him instead. Days later, the report about Harlan and Jessie's feat makes it to the island's newspaper. Harlan is regarded as a local hero. Professor Hoffman drops by Harlan's house with a man named Peter. Peter asks for Harlan's help. He explains that his family owns a vacation spot in Southeast Asia, but business has recently plummeted. Peter's son and 2 other tourists were killed by a shark. Local authorities were not much help either. He has come to ask Harlan to kill the shark threatening their island. Harlan agrees to help Peter and says they'll need a bigger boat.